Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. So one big AAA franchise that's been rumored to be coming to Xbox Game Pass all year long actually had some truth behind it, though its inclusion is a little bit different than what I think some fans were expecting, so we're going to go over that one today. Also, it sounds like one of Nintendo's biggest franchises has some questions surrounding it, and its future is left in a bit of a mystery, so we're going to go over that one as well. For our first topic of the day, though, we're going to be talking about Psychonauts 2, as they just introduced a very welcome quality of life update that makes this game even better. Now, that's kind of hard to do, as this game is already a masterpiece in my opinion. I think it's got an excellent story. The gameplay is phenomenal, and I think it already goes down as one of the all-time great 3D collectathon platformers. But that's kind of the thing, because with any 3D collectathon platformer, it just begs to have all of those collectibles found. And if you did want to try to do that, you might have found yourself a little frustrated there at the end, because some of the figments in this game are a little tricky to find, to say the least. It also didn't really help matters that with each level, there was really no indication as to where those missing figments was, and that could be a little annoying because some of the levels are actually pretty big in this game. But the good news is that Double Fine went back and fixed these issues. They did this by adding a new camera filter that you can buy in the game that allows you to pinpoint these figments just a little bit easier. They also added the ability to see if you collected everything in a given area or not, and both of these are incredibly important for a collectathon platformer like this. This was very much needed, so yeah, Psychonauts 2 is better than what it already was. Now, this update does include several other improvements as well, including bug fixes. It includes general stability improvements for all platforms, and the good news is that all of this is available now, so if you haven't already played Psychonauts 2, I really can't recommend this game enough. Moving on, yesterday I was feeling pretty good because we didn't have any delays to talk about, but, well, that's quickly changed because we do have a couple of big delays to talk about today, being Overwatch 2 and then Diablo 4. Now, as we all know, Activision Blizzard has been having some major problems, to say the least, over the last year. They make it really hard to like anything that they're doing right now, to be quite honest with you, and Activision as a company, yeah, they're an absolute mess right now, and it is affecting some of their biggest franchises, being Diablo and Overwatch. These games were originally announced back at BlizzCon of 2019, but with all of the recent shakeups, it seems like it's really affecting these games, as they're no longer set to release in 2022, but it looks like they have been pushed back to 2023. This was revealed during their earnings report, where they say this: "These are two of the most eagerly anticipated titles in the industry, and our teams have made great strides toward completion in recent quarters. But we believe giving the teams some extra time to complete production and continue growing their creative resources to support the titles after launch will ensure that these releases delight and engage their communities for many years in the future." It was also later suggested that they did originally plan for a 2022 release, but it's now been pushed back to 2023. So for any Overwatch or Diablo fan, it looks like you will have to wait a bit longer than expected. This is now the second year in a row, especially for Overwatch, as it seems like a lot of fans expected this to release in 2021. It didn't. Now it looks like it's going to miss 2022 as well. And I know that there is a lot of doubt for this game in specific. It seems like with Jeff Kaplan leaving Overwatch earlier this year and all of the different shakeups that's been running rampant across Activision Blizzard, there's a lot of doubt when it comes to Overwatch 2. As a big fan of the original Overwatch, I hope this one turns out well, but yeah, Activision Blizzard doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence right now. I guess we'll see what happens, but we will have to wait yet another year for Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. Now, I do also have some Nintendo news today, as it appears that one of Nintendo's biggest franchises has a bit of a mysterious future, and this is for Super Smash Bros. Of course, the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character was recently announced as Sora, and the next question when it comes to this franchise is, what does the future hold? How can you possibly replicate a game as big as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? I mean, you're talking about a game that has the 80+ characters with multiple licenses attached. I mean, you got Square Enix involved with this game with characters like Cloud, you got Dragon Quest Hero, you got Sora, you also have big publishers involved like Capcom, you have Sega, Bandai Namco, Xbox, and the list just kind of goes on and on. So with all of these different contracts, It was probably very hard to pull all of this off, and that's where a lot of people wonder, can you bring all of this back in a game like this in the future? Well, Sakurai in an interview was asked about the future of Super Smash Bros., and he did have some interesting things to say, not only about his inclusion for the franchise going forward, but just the future in general. And here's some of the things that he had to say. I'm not thinking about a sequel, but I can't say that this is definitely the last Smash Bros. I need to think about whether we should release another Smash Bros. Game at the risk of disappointing users. So right away, he's already kind of throwing doubt when it comes to the future of Super Smash Bros., but he then also continues on to talk about his inclusion, saying, I can't see any way to produce a Super Smash Bros. Without me. To be honest, I'd like to leave it to someone else, and I've actually tried that, but it hasn't worked out. If we're going to continue with the series, Nintendo and I need to discuss and seriously consider how to make it a success. So yeah, with all of that said, it seems like there's some very real questions about the future of Super Smash Bros. He does very specifically mention letting somebody else take over, but it sounds like they did try that in the past and it just hasn't worked out very well for them for whatever reason. We do know with the Super Smash Bros. Series is that they do pay attention to every little fine detail of bringing over a new character to the game, whether that be with the stage, the music, the movement, just every little detail that they can. They try to bring that to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So having a director like Sakurai, he's a tough act to follow, that's for sure. But with the success that this franchise has had, I'm certain that Nintendo will find a way to continue this franchise going forward. I can't imagine a future console not having a Super Smash Bros. Game. Now, something that Sakurai has said in the past is that there is no way the series could ever be as big as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate again, and that's also a very real question, just because, again, there's so many different contracts involved with this game. So any kind of future entry in this franchise, you're going to have to contact each one of these publishers and work out some new contracts to have those characters included once again. I don't think that that's completely unrealistic, though, just because having characters like this included in a franchise as popular as this is pretty much free advertisement. So that's just kind of the way I look at it. I think anybody would be crazy to not want their characters in Super Smash Bros. But there's some legitimate questions with the future of Super Smash Bros. And whether or not Sakurai will continue working on this series, whether or not it will ever be as big as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate again, and who will be the successor for this franchise when Sakurai does decide to hang it all up. Let me know what you think about all of this, though, and what Nintendo will do with the franchise going forward. Let's go and talk about Xbox Game Pass here for a moment, though, as they got a new interesting inclusion for the month of November. Now, it's been rumored all year long that Battlefield 2042 was going to be heading over to Xbox Game Pass. And well, I guess there was actually some truth to this rumor after all. EA has now in fact revealed that on November 12th, Battlefield 2042 will be heading over to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and then EA Play with a trial version. No, this is not going to be the complete game, but you will get a 10-hour trial version if you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate member or an EA Play subscriber. And while 10 hours is plenty of time to figure out whether or not you want to buy Battlefield 2042. And really, this might be the perfect game to try this out with, because reception for Battlefield 2042, at least when it came to that beta, has not been great. Now, they did say in the past that that beta was actually an older version of the game, so hopefully a lot of the issues that popped up in that beta is fixed here at launch. But again, I mean, you know, this is the perfect way to test this game out and see whether or not you like it. So I do find this to be an interesting way to try to entice members to buy Battlefield 2042. And really on top of that, that just gives you more of a reason to subscribe to a service like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and EA Play, as this is a very nice benefit to have. EA Play does come with that benefit of trial versions. We saw that with Madden 22 as well, and with EA Play included with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it really is just a nice little extra benefit to have. And there are a few cool things that they are doing with this. Not only will you get 10 hours of game time here, which is plenty of time to figure out whether or not you want it, but this trial version is also going to be available 7 days ahead of that official release. So even if you were already sold on this game, you'll still get access to it a week ahead of everybody else. As you can see, though, this is one of those things where adding EA Play can really benefit Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, as you're already seeing it this month with games like It Takes Two, and now with this Battlefield 2042 trial. Now, one topic that we've talked about a lot throughout this year, and I know it's tiring at times, but the difficulty of buying a PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series has been just a little too much for some fans out there. These consoles, they sell out pretty much immediately as soon as they go up online. But I actually do have some good news today for UK fans in specific. As Sony continues to face problems keeping up with demand throughout the world, Sony's reportedly planned to fly over PlayStation 5s to the UK with 3 jumbo jets loaded with pallets of PlayStation 5s. Each plane apparently can bring in 100 tons of equipment on almost 50 different pallets, and the Sun very specifically did say that this would make millions of gamers happy throughout the holiday. So if you have been having problems finding the PlayStation 5, well, if you do live in the UK, this is a good opportunity to finally get your hands on this coveted device. This is really interesting to see Sony do something like this to meet demand, however, just because it is more expensive to do an airlift like this. This is a faster method of getting PlayStation 5s in customers' hands, though, and I think that this is really important for Sony to do for several different reasons. For one, the UK is a very competitive marketplace with Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation, so by rapidly getting more stock in the UK can give Sony a competitive advantage there, but also by rapidly stocking places like this allows more software be sold for the PlayStation 5. Something that Sony has stated several times is that they want to sell more PlayStation 5 units in its first fiscal year than the PlayStation 4, and right now it's tracking just a little bit behind the PlayStation 4 with only 1 quarter left to go. But now that we're starting to see them do airlifts like this, which is quicker, yeah, the possibility of that happening has definitely went up. So even though this is a more expensive method of shipping these consoles, I think the long-term benefits is definitely worth it. Either way, definitely good news for anybody looking to buy a PlayStation 5 this holiday. Let's go and take a look at the poll of the day, though. Something that we talked about yesterday is how id Software is hiring for a long-running, iconic action first-person shooter game, and that really narrows it down to what exactly they're working on. It really comes down to only a few different franchises, so I thought I'd ask you all, what game do you think they're referring to? Do you think it's Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, or Rage? And it does seem like the majority of you all do believe that they might be rebooting Quake. And after really thinking about this, I think you all might be right. I was kind of leaning towards Doom yesterday, but as some of you all pointed out in the comments, it does seem like id Software wants to move on to the Quake universe. They did recently push out that Quake remaster, and this is a good way of reintroducing fans to the Quake universe before a possible Quake reboot. It would be really cool to see Quake get that Doom reboot treatment, though. This is a long-running franchise with a lot of fans out there, and I think it has that aspect to it where it can have an alluring single-player component to the game, but it can also bring over that highly competitive multiplayer. As a lot of Quake fans out there know, we really don't get a lot of games like this anymore with that high-speed, precision-based gameplay. You know, back then we got games like Quake and Unreal Tournament, but with Epic Games kind of focusing more on Fortnite now, Unreal Tournament seems to have been put on the back burner, and id Software could bring something special to the table with a new Quake game. I think it could really stand out in the market and kind of be its own thing, and fans that love these games would be thrilled to see a brand new Quake game get that Doom 2016 reboot treatment. Now, with that said, if this is a Doom game, like I said yesterday, you really can't go wrong with either Quake or Doom. I still, however, do not believe this is a Wolfenstein game. I would be surprised if that's the case, just because Machine Games kind of took over the Wolfenstein franchise, so I'd be surprised if id Software was working on the next Wolfenstein game. But either way, I am really excited to see what exactly they're working on next after Doom Eternal was just an excellent game. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. But if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.